Welcome to the Altitude Esports Mock Overwatch League. I am Dealer,
I'm Rec.
and we're watching Oasis between the Atlanta Brain and the Vancouver Tiny.
All right. So first map is this is Gardens, right?
Yeah, this is Gardens.
I'm never good with remembering the names of each map.
Yeah.
All right. Let's. So
Alright, waiting for the hero picks to come in. Probably going to see some Ryan Diva here. That's what we've seen a lot of comps look like. Maybe Ryan Zarya. Still not sure, but definitely safe to say we're going to see a lot of Ryan play throughout all four maps here, or however long the maps go to. DPS is looking pretty flexible right now. Patch hasn't been live for too long, so right. So here are the comps. We have Winston Diva on one side, and then a Ryan Zarya. So yeah, probably we're gonna see some dive here, or at least some dive type plays, and looks like a brawl comp on the other side.
Looks really nice. They had a Reaper there for a second, and it may, but it looks like they're running Symmetra, and that might be really nice to play into a dive comp.
Yeah, it looks like they probably anticipated it just a little bit. So they're going lower left here onto the point, coming under.
Right.
Winston up high ground. Winston is in on the Reaper. Brain playing pretty slowly here. Kills come in on the Rhine. Diva is down. That's a big loss for them. This point is probably looking lost. That Winston's just playing up high ground right now.
Yeah, so far it looks like team, which team is that? It looks like the Ryan Zarya team here is just gonna dominate so far in the first portion of the map.
Yep. I mean, that's probably...
They didn't look too synergistic there in their dive.
Yeah, the Winston looked a little hesitant to drop off of high ground. It kind of looked like he was waiting for a pick to come in, but it just didn't really happen. So Reaper's probably putting a lot of pressure on him, so we'll see what they can do. Fire Mercy working up top. Definitely gonna see that most of the map.
A lot of pressure out on the main tank already. And they trade main tanks.
Yep, both main tanks are down, so now it's pretty much... Alright, then Reaper gets a huge pick on Moira. Barrage coming in. That's gonna kill Reaper and Lucio.
So far it looks like, again, the Ryan Zarya team.
Right, even though both main tanks went down first, the Brain kind of had the wherewithal to stay in the fight, and I mean, even now, the Ryan is back, so stagger wasn't too bad. They're already right back on point, and doesn't really look like they lost too much there.
They traded some ults, and it looks like still, Brain is it? Looks like they're ahead on ult economy still.
Yeah, Brain has 3 ults to 1, and Tiny is pretty low on ult charge.
Switch to the Mei. Oh, that's a huge wall.
Here comes the beat. Yep, that wall separated, and now the Ryan and Zarya are down all at once.
And it looks like that the Brain is going to take this map, and maybe they'll turn it into a roll.
Yep.
They look
just
very
push it as far as they can. Yeah, the Ryan Zarya was probably the difference. Tiny switched to Ryan Zarya once they kind of figured out that their dive wasn't going to work, but play on the Mei and the pressure on Tiny's main tanks kind of made it pretty hard, and then we're going to get some cleanup kills as we end the match.
They continue.
Tiny just kind of stagger back on. But that's going to be it. They did. But now the Brain are going to take Oasis Gardens.
They looked very strong there.
Yeah, they did.
And if they get University here, their comp is still going to be very strong, and they get University. Things are looking good for them.
The syntax for the Brain was playing pretty well. The walls were well placed, and this map is really, really good for some pretty important wall placements. And if they get that right, it should be a continuation of what we saw last map. Pretty similar chokes.
It looks like both teams are running Rein Zarya this time with a Mei as well. Oh, looks like a mirror.
Capture the objective.
Different main supports, but
yeah, right.
Generally,
supports, but almost a mirror. Definitely in the way that they're gonna play. It's almost, it's pretty much a mirror. Huge wall there blocking off the Zarya. They're gonna get an early pick. Bap Immortality goes up. Now it's down. Brain falling back into rooms right there.
Oh, looks like the Brain's Mei got a little aggressive there, but it still looks like the Brain are going to take this point.
Yeah, Tiny lost their Zarya right away, and that was a really big loss for them. They kind of just, they didn't have the sustain after that. They were just kind of sitting there playing really slowly. Immortality went up, but it couldn't do much. And Wall is gonna stagger, or at least try to stagger the Reaper. Cole coming in from Brain's Moira.
Big. That was a huge play. Oh, they traded main tanks. It looks like the Brain are going to take this back, actually. Despite having a strong beginning fight, or start in this fight, the Tiny are still going to lose it.
Yep, and there's the cleanup. The Brain are looking really strong right now. The ult economy has been pretty well managed. They're not overcommitting, and fight after fight, they're getting huge picks, especially on these main tanks. The Tiny Zarya is just kind of going down really quickly, and that's pretty detrimental.
Another big wall from Syntax, but
that's a huge wall. Beat comes in. Dueling beats. There we have double shatters.
Oh, that's a lot of
a grab and a Reaper.
Oh, it looks like the Tiny are going to take this fight for sure. That was...
Everybody kind of pressed Q once everything came out in the Tiny's favor. That was a really quick fight. They knew they had to pop ults really soon, and the Tiny are going to take control of the point because of that.
Yeah, they traded walls right there, and they were both really good, but Syntax was too extended in there, and the counter wall just saved them. That
counter wall was a great play.
Yeah.
It gave him the advantage once they came in. And there's the grab. Immortality goes up. And then there's another Reaper ult here. Ryan's shield is down. Syntax gets a huge pick on the enemy Mei.
Oh, the Tiny's Ryan.
Tiny's Ryan charged all the way into the Syntax, overextended himself, and he's going to die because of that. Zarya, Baptiste, and Lucio are going to try to stagger. Lucio wall riding in the back, but it's not going to be too long for Tiny's... Yep, and there they go. They're going to give up the fight at this point, try to regroup.
It seems like there's potential for a stagger to happen right here.
Yeah, the Lucio and the Mei, it could have been really dangerous right there. She did get out, but she walled off the Rhine, and if they had kind of committed to breaking that, there's a chance she could have gotten picked. Kind of a theme here. Tiny's Rhine charging in, staggering himself, and here we go with the second point.
Close to the grab. Let's see if they can just turn around this.
There's a window from Tiny's Bab. Grab comes in, counter beat.
So already it looks like the Tiny could not bring that around for themselves.
Reaper ult in desperation. That's going to get taken down pretty quickly by Brain's Moira. And the wall there blocking off the Tiny. Brain is going to take this first map.
That was a very strong performance against the Tiny, for sure. And it seemed like the Tiny, just in general, weren't very coordinated, especially on the first map.
Definitely. They
did not get much follow-up value off of the main tank's plays. Although he did often. When he did go in, he was pressured too hard for anything to happen.
Yep. We have Nectar, OW, Cabbagehead, Femel, and It's Raven with follows. Thanks, guys. But yeah, it definitely felt like the coordination wasn't really there. The mirror kind of came in and was... They just didn't... It just seems like they were not aggressive when they needed to be, and they were falling back at kind of weird times. They staggered themselves a few times, and overall, it was just a really dominant display by the Brain.
And as Syntax as well, his Mei performance was pretty strong there.
Yeah, the walls were huge. Tiny's Mei had a pretty good counter wall, and that's what ended up winning him the only fight that they did. But other than that, I think the Ryan Zarya play was really, really good. It was really strong, and DPS play was also really good.
You just want to take my job?
Yeah, it's mine now. Sorry.
No. I'm supposed to be the analyst here.
Yeah, cry about it, kid.
Yeah. But you were right. Syntax's Maywalls, just in general, were overall way better than Ms. Lead Elf.
Yeah.
Walls. Is that how you say their name?
I don't know. Sounds like it. Yeah, I mean, I think kind of with the Tiny being a bit overextended and uncoordinated, Syntax took advantage of that really, really well. He had some huge walls that kind of further exacerbated Tiny's problems that they were having. You know, they came out on the Winston initially, and it looked like it was kind of just a problem with the comp, but as they proved later on, kind of having trouble initiating, maybe too slow to engage certain times.
All right, it looks like we're going to be playing on Temple of Anubis here.
Yep. Probably gonna expect another mirror comp here. A little too early to see if the Tiny are gonna try and swap off and do something different here, considering that it's only one map, but the Brain were looking really, really dominant. So I wouldn't be surprised if they switched it up pretty early on in Temple of Anubis.
And here we go.
Now entering the Temple of Anubis.
All right, welcome to Altitude Esports Mock Overwatch League. I am Dealer.
And I'm Rec, for those who are just tuning in.
Right, and we are watching Temple of Anubis between the Atlanta Brain and the Vancouver Tiny.
All right, so last game, it seemed just in general that the Brain were way more coordinated than the Tiny, and because of that, they were able to generally roll the enemy team, the Tiny.
Yeah, and it's probably, I mean, the chokes last map were just kind of, it was just kind of painful the way that they were engaging. It wasn't really any full engages by the team at all, especially when you're playing mirror like that, kind of staggering on while one team is completely aggressing. It just doesn't work out, and I mean, that was pretty evident.
And both teams came in before the game started. They both came in from their previous games with 4-0s, both of them, and it looks like they're not going to have that perfect win streak, at least for the Tiny. Who knows if the Brain continue to roll.
I think here, okay, so the Brain are going to go with the Orisa here. Orisa Sigma. I mean, this is pre-patch meta. This is kind of, could be questionable, but we'll see. They're going to try to pull Rock initially. Tiny's taking their time back in spawn.
In spawn, it looks like they're switching something up, maybe. They're still running a dive comp.
Their main, yeah, Ball's going to switch off here. Right, so now they're going to go Monkey D.Va.
Okay.
Probably trying to go, well, they had the ball before, so I don't think they're going to try to pressure into choke here. Genji's going to engage the Orisa and the Sigma here as the team rotates underneath. Yeah, Tiny's Genji and Ana just got picked off immediately, and there goes the Winston and the Lucio. Yeah, this was a lost fight almost immediately.
Been here all along.
Very quick.
Kind of questionable on the double barriers, but the picks came in really, really quickly on the Tiny's DPS, and it just, I mean, it was too fast for him.
The Orisa pull right there was very, I noticed it got the Sombra out of stealth, and that might have been a big part of making sure the enemy team couldn't disable them, even if it was luck.
Right, the Tiny Genji was kind of
extended here. They switched off to Ryan D.Va.
Yeah, now they're running Ryan D.Va, similar to
with a Symmetra.
What we've seen. Yeah, okay, so Bap is hacked up high ground. Diva's chasing him now. Now the entire team is going to peel for them, but a pick comes in on the Bap. That's a huge pick.
Teleporting the point. The Tiny.
Now it's only the Symmetra on the point, and the Ana got picked off by the Widow. Huge Rip Tire going to kill the Rhine and the Symmetra.
Syntax turning this around for the Brain.
Syntax
4K
had a
right there.
huge play there. It was moving really quickly, but he was able to take control of the point. And now there's still a Sombra on the point. If they see her, that's going to be a terrible stagger, but it looks like she's just living underneath. And they do switch back to the ball. I'm not sure what they're seeing. Yeah, and there the Sombra goes.
The Tiny get a tick right there, but the stagger is a lot bigger for them.
Yeah,
The Brain.
definitely.
And they get another pick for a stagger onto the Symmetra, and they're going to continue this fight. Hopefully they don't lose a tick here. And they keep just cleaning up.
That Widow on the high ground is definitely giving some trouble. She's picked off the Ana 2 straight fights. Sombra is still in their back. I mean, I don't know.
The pick on the Sombra before the fight started was huge. She
Yeah,
couldn't
definitely.
disable any of their tanks or even supports or DPS. She couldn't do anything.
It kind of looks like what they're trying to play really fast paced, but and there's the Sombra stagger again. They're trying to kind of full commit and go fast paced. You saw the Symmetra teleport onto the choke, onto the point rather, but they're just getting picked off really early, and they can't. And now the ball's behind them. Syntax is going to chase him. He's going to go grab Mega. That's really going to be inconsequential. Here comes the Diva Bomb.
It got them no value, or very little value at least.
Back window up top. Some ults are going to come in on the side of the Brain. I mean, they've been saving him up so much at this point. And that Widow is still giving them issues.
It looks like the Tiny
is going to kill the Genji. Tiny definitely have a chance here. Things are still even, but that's a really big pick. But they actually trade. And then the Diva's going to get a really big pick onto them. Yep, Tiny turned it around in a pretty surprising fashion. Brain had a ton of ults, and they used all of them except for, Widow's ult, but that really wasn't going to get much value either. And right, there's the Widow swap onto Mei. That makes sense. Mei is just ridiculously strong on second point, especially with their Baptiste comp.
Surprising it's not Syntax on the Mei either. Last game he was doing very well on Mei, especially with his walls.
Yep. He's going to stay on the McCree here. And they have a Diva now too. Bongo's going to come in really early, but the EMP is huge. A Mindfield's going to come in onto point. Bongo's down. Now Brain's Baptiste is down. And there's a pick onto the Genji. Tiny's Genji. Orisa and the team kind of playing in the back. Mercy's going to res Baptiste. Immort goes up, and it's going to look like they're going to trickle down here. Yep.
Yeah,
so that was actually
just gonna stagger the Diva here. Maybe they don't kill the baby, and they're just gonna stagger her as long as. Oh, okay. They kill her off.
Yeah, they kill her pretty easily there. They could have staggered her really hard. Kind of questionable there, but I mean,
not worth the BM, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, BM or stagger, kind of the same thing in that situation, I guess.
They don't want them to turn it around like they did before.
I mean, that minefield could have been massive, especially with the EMP, but they just... Brain was able to push back. Winston is going to dive onto point here, use his bubble immediately. Diva Bomb's going to come in. Immortality goes down right before. That could have been huge. They're going to res the McCree, so that's not a huge loss for them. But here comes the Genji Blade. He's going to get 2. Kills the Orisa and the McCree, and there goes the Mei as well. Huge Nano Blade for the Tiny.
All they needed to do was save a bunch of ults and win over the ult economy.
Right, I mean,
and then from there win.
The slow play looked like kind of a bad idea early on, but allowed them to farm up some ults and go just crazy on them. They kind of pressed Q and then
take this back.
traded.
It's 2 CP on defense.
Yeah. The Mei is going to get rid of both of their supports. And there's the res on the ball. Not that it really mattered. He spawns 10 feet away anyway. He has fast rollout. And Brain takes that back really convincingly.
30 seconds remaining.
The Tiny only need one more tick, but they have less than 30 seconds to do so.
Yeah, they're gonna need to, and I mean they used, well, they have primal.
Right now.
Yeah, not really anything that's gonna get them a lot of value here. Definitely not Nanoblade. Expended that and didn't get. I mean, they got a ton of value, but they couldn't
Not
take.
enough for 2 CP.
Right. Monkey's gonna dive in again. It's kind of what we saw last time, but the Reaper pick on the Tracer is huge. They're gonna pop Primal here. Reaper picks Ana as well.
Syntax going off.
Here comes the Diva Bomb. That's really gonna get no value, and then he's gonna Blade without the Nano. He will kill the Mercy, so he's gonna get some value there. And the Reaper goes down. That's gonna be huge, but Brain picks off the Mercy and the Genji, and it looks like this is going to be about it. Tracer is living off to the right, but right now it's looking like the Brain are going to take this not convincingly, because they really, really, really easily could have lost that, but the Brain did a pretty good job.
They held it.
Yeah.
Score.
I mean, past the initial Nanoblade, it was kind of, I mean, not expected because 2CP is what it is, but
Initiating match.
they didn't have a ton of follow-up, and that's a kind of an issue of their comp, but
They also had
just
ults
because,
ready
right.
right after that when they respawned.
So Brain's kind of non-commitment to the first push paid off, because they were able to stop the second kind of desperation push that, I mean, probably wouldn't have worked anyway, but the slow pace kind of stopped them from rolling that. They all came back out of spawn with ults. So here we go into the
Ready for
second
battle.
round here with Brain on attack.
Looks like they're going for Orion Zarya, like we saw in the first map.
Yep. Ryan
Orion Zarya
Zarya.
seems really good, and maybe there's potential here for them to do well, but
Incoming in 30 seconds.
they would probably have a bit of a difficult time against something like a double shield comp, despite being weaker than it was before.
Tiny is gonna, okay, yeah, there's the switch onto the Orisa. It was Monkey or Sigma first, but that was switch off of that pretty quickly. So they're gonna run with Baptiste, Mercy, Sigma, Orisa, Hanzo, and Pharah.
One.
And then the
Widow could counter this Pharmacy very easily.
yeah, we're gonna need to watch that Widow's positioning. She's definitely gonna be looking for the pick on the Pharah Mercy, especially once she realizes how they're playing it. She gets bubbled as she goes up. Now she has information on that Pharah Mercy. They're gonna go underneath.
Around to the left.
That wall's gonna give him a ton of time to push up and take a lot of space.
Already back
And
onto the point.
yep, Tiny has already backed onto the point, and now Immortality is up. It's actually a huge pick on the Moira from Tiny's Sigma.
It looks like the Brain are going to be able to take this, though. They're getting pick after pick.
Oh, Sigma
wow.
picked both main tanks at the same. Sorry, both tanks at the same time.
There's potential for the Hanzo here. Oh, but he doesn't get it. He was overwhelmed by the Widow and the Lucio on him at the same time.
Yeah, Widow was applying a ton of pressure in the back. The Lucio did a fantastic job. He killed, I think it was 3.
Yeah, the Brain are performing very well here as well. They were able to take point A very quickly, whereas the Tiny had very little time left for when they did cap it.
Yep. Brains, Ryan Zarya worked pretty well.
With the help of their
On
Mei, they
attack.
got so much value out of the wall, and it
Yeah,
just
Mei-
gave them free space.
Maywall gave him a ton of time to move in, and they were able to use that to deny really any sort of counter push that the Tiny was going to give. Here comes the Cole by the Brains Moira.
The Tiny are already a bit split up. The Brain are up one.
Huge kills on the McCree and the Mercy. Sigma goes down as well.
Ults are being traded. It doesn't look like a 2 CP hold is going to be happening anytime soon.
Tracer's still living, and they're going to use Shatter there.
And the Braves
Syntax
still
went-
have ult economy advantage.
Yeah, Syntax popped off there. He killed through.
Syntax has been performing very well these last 2 games.
He definitely has, and they're going to take that map as well. Atlanta Brain up 2-0 right now.
2-0.
Probably looking at the
Syntax,
Nano
man.
Blade. Nope, it was Syntax. It was that 4K on first when he flipped the point pretty much by himself.
Yeah, it looks like they were going to lose unless Syntax did what he did.
It was a huge rip tire, and then the cleanup on the squishies there completely flipped the point for them. Fantastic play.
Well done, Syntax.
We have Lil Elmer's Glue for the follow. Thanks, man.
Oh, nice name. I love drinking some Elmer's Glue. Ah, I love Elmer's Glue.
All right, so we're gonna move into halftime now. Give the team some time.
It looks like the Tiny are asking for a good break here. Maybe they need to do some slot trading or filling in roles for different heroes.
Yeah, they.
My brain decided to not work very well here.
Their
Maybe they'll just switch
coordination
out.
wasn't great. They were. I mean, I honestly, I don't know what they could have really done to change it. I mean, they were running close to a mirror first map, and then second they went double shield. Both of them went double shield on defense. It just the Rein Zarya worked way better on attack for the Brain.
To me, it looks like the Tiny surrendered a lot of space for
Yeah, definitely.
almost nothing. They essentially gave them space for nothing at all. It was free value, even if there was potential value to be gained against good counterplays from the Tiny. They just didn't provide any sort of counter towards it, especially on first point on their defense, the Tiny. It seemed like their tanks just backed off when there was a wall in front of them.
Yeah, the
They had
wall
no
was
reason to retreat.
I mean, the wall easily could have been pretty inconsequential, but Tiny allowed it to take a ton of space for him. And I mean, give credit to the Brain as well. They recognized when they could push in very, very well.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
they were there when they needed to be there.
Yeah, Syntax's walls, regardless, are just really good. And his performance in general, the tanks as well, they're able to take the space from Syntax's plays very synergistically.
Yeah, you can
And overall,
definitely
they're
see
doing very well.
the communication is definitely there. Coordination was really the difference right now is going to be the coordination. If the Tiny can figure out any way to really commit to something, it's going to be better than what they're doing now. Even when they went double shield, they had the Orisa Sigma, and I mean, it's after patch, so that's not going to be that strong anyway. But the way that they played it, it's not going to work. Those heroes are meant to take and maintain space, and they were just giving it up left and right.
I didn't hear what you said, but I disagree.
I hate you. I think
Looks like the next map is going to be Eichenwald.
yeah, definitely. I would assume a Rein Zarya mirror for sure.
Yeah, the Brains, Rein Zarya in general, have been very good. I wonder if they're going to be playing other synergistic comps with Rein, like Rein Diva, which I believe they did pull out.
Yeah,
Or,
they
no,
had,
that was the Tiny.
The Tiny had a Rein Diva, and then on defense for Temple of Anubis, which they just won, they had a Diva at one point.
Oh, yeah, and they were able to combo with Sombra's EMP with the Diva Bomb, and it looks like that did pretty well. While it didn't get huge value on its own, it was just enough value so that their team could win the fight in the long run.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But the brand, they were able to take it pretty quickly
We have Twinkie
without big
Genji.
ults.
Thanks for the 100 bits, man.
Oh,
Pog, dude. Give me more money, please. Give the stream money. We like money.
hmm. Yes, I like money too. Don't give it to me.
Actually, I hate money. Don't give me money. I hate money.
I think, honestly, we've been talking about Syntax a lot. He's been doing a lot as well. He might be the MVP if he continues to pop off as well as he has been. But we should take a good look at the tanks as well. They're doing a lot in order to take value on Syntax's plays.
For sure. I mean, the value that Syntax has been able to get on the walls is it doesn't happen without the Rein Zarya, and then in another case, the Orisa Sigma very briefly. It doesn't happen without them taking the space.
Yeah.
So it's operating pretty synergistically right now, and I mean, there's no reason that the brain shouldn't be able to continue this. It's the Rein Zarya doing a ton of work, and Syntax's walls are being placed very well. And the supports also for the brain have been positioning fairly well. There haven't been a ton of early picks, and when there have been, the team has played very, very well around them.
Yeah, I noticed the main support on it was their first push on attack, that last map on Temple of Anubis. They lost their BAP like really quickly, but they were still able to turn it around.
Yeah, usually, I mean, after BAP nerfs, it's not as massive of a blow. It's still a huge thing to lose your main support, but it's yeah, they played really well. They didn't panic when they lost their main support, and they were able to continue to fight around it. They were able to play slow, and I mean that still speaks to their ability to take and maintain space and really be smart with their pushes. On those Syntax walls, they pushed in at really good times, and then when they knew they didn't need to be aggressive or couldn't be aggressive, they did really, really well with that. Their decision making was definitely a huge factor.
Well, what could the Tiny really do, like, to turn this around? I'm wondering if they run some sort of. Well, what all they've run really so far that's worked has been Ryan Diva. Maybe there's potential just to get value off of that, as well as maybe a May to help them. Their May, Ms. Lead Elf, however you pronounce that. They got some pretty good walls on the first map. While they didn't win it, the map, the fights that they did won were pretty much thanks to the walls and the value that the May could get.
Misled elf.
Yeah.
You forget misled was a word wreck?
No. Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you
Yeah.
did, dude.
I
Yeah.
did.
Let's go! I'm barely literate. Barely literate gang, dude.
How do you say that one character with all the fancy letters? How do you say this guy's name?
Don't ask me that. I have no clue. You know I don't know. You know I don't know, and you wanted to put me on the spot. Oh, apparently it's the Yeetress. Okay.
Oh, so it's pronounced like a Y, not a V.
Interesting observation, Rec.
Are
Yes.
you making fun of me?
No. Why would I do that?
Oh, okay.
You're my best caster buddy.
Oh, it looks like there's going to be a swap here. Merciless for Twink Genji. If I remember right, he was... What was he playing? He was their support, right?
Merciless was, yeah, I think he was a support.
Maybe
So,
this trade alone could get them a lot more sustain from their main support. Maybe
mean-
that's not even enough to get them a win.
that's pretty optimistic. The Brain were looking really good, but we'll see as we move into Eichenwald. So welcome, Altitude Esports Mock Overwatch League. I am Dealer.
Initiating match.
Who, Rek. My name is Rek.
Yeah, his name is Rek. And we are watching Eichenwald between the Atlanta Brain and the Vancouver Tiny. Brain are up 2-0 on the Tiny right now. So we'll see how it looks moving into the third map here.
I said my name already. Why did you say my name again?
Because people joined and they need to know your name. If they join mid-map.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his name's Rek.
That's me.
Yeah, he's Rek. And I'm Dealer.
Hi.
Yeah, he's Rek.
You know, this is my favorite map for Doomfist. I'd love to see some Doomfist plays here, but it doesn't look like either team will be running anything close to that.
I mean,
I wish
they're
would.
not degenerates, so they're probably not going to be playing Doomfist like you. You okay?
No.
Just so excited about the Brain and the Tiny. Can't wait to see this Rhine Diva.
4, 3, 2, 1.
It looks like they're gonna run a double shield this time. Let's see how well they play. We've only seen them run Ryan Zarya so far. Well, actually, no. We saw them on their defense double shield.
Yeah, on defense,
and it
Brain,
looked really well.
we're running Arista Sigma too, so we'll see how this works out for her.
And so far, it doesn't look like they're moving very quickly, the Tiny. Oh, and they finally reached the choke.
Bit indecisive there. Diva's gonna come in quickly.
Nice wall. They're split off.
Ball's gonna, yeah, the ball
Brain.
splits them, and then they collapse on Brain Sigma. That's a really, really big pick. Although this Rhine isn't really being super aggressive now, that's a great time to take space. But in that meantime, Tiny's Genji is gonna go down.
The Brain are still down a main tank for now. That's a bigger pick than a DPS, but...
And
there
goes the main tank for the Tiny. Riptire already is going to do a ton of damage to the Diva. She is out of mech. And there goes Baby Diva. And the Brain are going to take this point pretty confidently. I mean, other than the initial pick on the Sigma, it was a great wall. And there's another stagger on the Ana. Great shot.
Yeah, that was a nice hook shot right there. Free stagger. You can thank that aim for it. But is there a Brain in there?
Syntax farmed Riptire ridiculously.
Yeah, that was huge. All joking aside, between the players.
I mean, he didn't get a ton of value on it because the fight was already won, but it was ridiculous. The Genji's gonna fall really early again. Positioning might be off there, but I think overall, it's just really, really quick picks for the Brain. They're gonna get a Baptiste ult here.
And again, it just looks like the Brain are gonna win this fight and potentially get some staggers here onto their Ana.
And there's the kill on the Ana. It's not too bad, but as they're moving out here,
and their Diva's down on the mech too. They have to wait for that as the Ana respawns.
No one can hide
it's just a ton of time that they're losing.
And then they get another
And
stagger.
there's the Mei, and there's the Ana.
This Widow is just destroying this Ana with the hook shot snipes. This guy's got pretty good aim. And now it just seems like the Tiny are just gonna wait until all of their team is there. Just get that regroup for a full fight.
Yeah. Bongo comes down.
They messed up the wall, the Tiny.
That
Shatter goes out.
Shatter. hit absolutely nothing. Diva Bomb goes into the back. Immortality was huge, stopped anybody from dying, but the Riptire is going to take down the Genji. Another pick on that Ana. And then there goes the Widow. She has been popping off, killed the Ana really, really early. 3 fights in a row, or staggered her, and then there's the cleanup.
So,
Really, really, really convincing from this Widow. She is doing a ton of damage from the high ground, and there's another stagger on the Genji.
to the Genji.
Tiny just can't seem to stay as a team, stay coordinated.
Yeah, that's about the 3rd time that Syntax has picked off the Genji. And bomb goes out from the brain, but doesn't get much value.
Only 10 seconds left. Here comes the blade out of desperation here.
They're forced to use ults to have a
Blizzard
chance
doesn't
of winning
really
at all.
Yeah, I mean all the ults are coming down. They don't really have a choice. The Blizzard doesn't catch anybody, and now the Tiny are gonna pour onto point. But there goes the Diva mech, and Brain still have both of their tanks, so it's probably looking like this fight is gonna go to the Brain.
Syntax
There's
with
another Riptire. Pretty sure he's had 3 of those.
And it looks like the Genji's gonna go again.
They're doing a pretty good job of staying on the point, and there's the Bongo from the Brain.
Another Diva bomb, and the Tiny has another beat as well.
Tiny has been extending this really, really well. They've actually farmed a few ults that they would not have gotten to pop if they hadn't been trickling onto the point like this.
DPS trades right here. Bomb goes out from the Brain, but it doesn't look like it'll connect with anyone. Baffles as well, and then the Brain get a beat out. There's no way they don't win this.
The Brains, the ults came in, and they were trickling for the Tiny, and it was a valiant effort to try and get onto the point and farm some ults. And I mean, on the off chance that it worked, it would have been really good for them, but Brain just had the advantage there.
Even with the roster switch, it seems like they aren't being very coordinated on their ults at all, or their pushes in general. On their first push, they got a main tank pick, and that was huge, but they just didn't go in and take any space off of it.
Yeah, the wall on the Sigma was, I mean, that had potential to completely turn the fight.
Yeah.
And win them that first objective, but the Ryan was playing really, really passively, and it gave them a lot of time to regroup and make sure that nothing too bad really happened. So
Orisa as a main tank on her own is pretty strong, but I mean, as of recent, not really. She's been nerfed pretty strong, and without each other, Orisa and Sigma are pretty weak. So they just let that opportunity kind of go down the drain.
And I mean, My Life is a Meme on that Widow doing so much damage. I mean, the staggers, Syntax and My Life is a Meme together just, I mean, they staggered the entire team multiple times.
Yeah, there was like 2 full fights maybe that lasted longer than a good couple seconds. I know that's an exaggeration for sure, but they were just staggered the majority of that round right there.
Yeah, fights on the point were few and far between. Jeez. Tiny's gonna come out on the Far Mercy here. Definitely not a bad pick on Eichenwald. But Brain is gonna come around to the right, gonna go through buildings here. Tiny is still gonna run this double shield. They've been doing that definitely more than we would have expected. Sigma's gonna get frozen early, and they forced out Immo. Reaper rolling in. They're gonna give up a ton of space here.
They lose their Lucio and their Reaper. Not only do they lose a ton of space, a ton of damage from their Reaper, and they just turn that around, or no, they just cleaned it up from there. There was nothing to turn around. They won the fight.
These are all kind of cleanup picks here, and it was a really, really good job by the Tiny to not let that first loss of space phase them. They kept it together. They played with what they had, and they were able to flip that point.
Yeah, the Brain looked very strong walking into that point right there.
Yeah, for sure. I thought that was probably a take for the Brain, but
Yeah, me too.
again, great job by the Tiny.
And it looks like they're gonna...
Dragon and a Cole. Brain is rotated onto point. It's only the Moira out there now. They're looking kind of split, but now the Rhine is going to get on.
The Brain is
Skill's going to come through.
And
There's the Shatter. Doesn't get anybody. But
Even
huge picks from the Brain. Syntax and My Life is a Meme again. They're getting so much... Wow. So much value.
Nice.
Yeah. So much value on these DPS, and Atlanta Brain are going to take Eichenwald.
They're kind of just rolling the Tiny here.
Play the game from the Moira. I mean, there weren't a ton of huge plays. It was so much stagger, so much just kind of discoordination.
And the skill orb right there onto the Mercy definitely turned that fight around for them.
Yeah, there was...
Well, they were already down from there. So they just ensured their victory.
Glide definitely playing really, really well on main support. He's been a really big part of their victory. I don't think we should underlook him rather.
Yeah, definitely. The entirety of this team Brain, they're just very coordinated, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, along with the kind of I don't want to say bad necessarily, but just weird comps by the Tiny. It just seems like the comps that they're going with, either they're playing them incorrectly, as in they're not taking space when they need to and they're not maintaining it when they need to, or they're just kind of they're being too passive in all cases. But
yeah, definitely.
The comps can work. It's just, I think, the aggressiveness of the Brain on that Rhine Zarya, which has been doing so well, and My Life is a Meme and Syntax. We've seen May, Reaper, Widowmaker. It's just, they're just getting so much value on those DPS.
Syntax has been performing very well throughout this entire match between the Brain and the Tiny. But My Life is a Meme. He's been getting massive picks. He's been staggering on his own and then getting 3Ks in the middle of a fight where he's just untouched. And he turns the fight around entirely on his own. He's definitely got to be considered for player of the match.
Yeah,
MVP.
for sure.
Both of their DPS are just very good. FPS Nautica, thanks for the follow. By the way.
All right, here we go. Now with Havana. Brain have the chance on this map to 4-0 the Tiny. We'll see how it goes.
Initiating match.
For the Rhine and the Zarya, they've been performing very well on the Brain. Both of the tanks. But I can't really figure out which one has been getting more value. I guess I'll have to pay better attention throughout this game so we can see and consider them as well for MVP. We can't overlook the main tanks or off tanks or the supports even though Syntax and My Life is a Meme, they're both huge on their own. It wouldn't really be possible without the plays that the main tanks have been making since they've been playing double shield as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot harder for Tiny's tanks to get value in most situations, and that's kind of how it's been going here.
Incoming in 30 seconds.
So far, it looks like a Hamster Sigma for the Tiny. Looks interesting.
Hamster, although not really meta, works pretty well on this map, so I wouldn't really discount it right away. Though Sigma with ball might not be the best pick. They're going to have to devote a lot of resources into keeping him up depending on how the ball plays.
5, 4,
for the fourth and maybe final time, welcome to the Altitude Esports Mock Overwatch League. I am Dealer.
I'm Marek.
And we are watching Havana between the Atlanta Brain and the Vancouver Tiny.
And as usual, throughout these past 4 games, they're The Tiny are kind of slow getting out of the spawn. And already Syntax
Massive stagger. Syntax killing the Pharah there. She has the Mercy Pocket. That's going to be huge. Ball still engaging here. He's just going to stagger himself further. He had absolutely no reason to do that. And the Pharah is behind them.
Yeah, she's kind of just stuck back there.
There's really nothing to taxi her out. She's kind of stranded.
Yeah, Syntax
waiting for a team and getting
pressure on him still.
Syntax has been doing a very, very good job, not only applying pressure to the opposition's tanks, but their DPS as well. DPS have a very, very difficult time getting value with all of the pressure that the Brain have been applying to them.
Right now, their tanks are sitting back, the Tinies, on the cart. And they're really getting...
Pharah was frontlining there. I mean, that was... You just can't do that. It's even if you're playing Pharah Mercy, there is absolutely no reason your Pharah should be that extended. The Genji's gonna go down.
Honestly, I wouldn't blame anyone in being on that team for feeling like they want to be aggressive and then getting picked for it. It seems like their tanks just aren't being very aggressive when they can be.
Definitely.
Right now, they switched off the Pharah to Tracer. I don't think that.
Here comes a Bob already from Syntax, and right in the middle of Vayne. I mean, they pushed all the way up to corner, and all of the pressure has just caused them to move all the way back to spawn, and now they're staggered still. And there goes the Tracer.
Syntax still onto Omega, just getting pick after pick on him.
Yep. It's been a massive, massive reason. I think Tiny has almost been afraid to take space, and probably rightfully so. Syntax has been deadly on the hit scan. So has My Life as a Meme. Grey Vibes too on this Rhine is doing a fantastic job of knowing when to give and knowing when to take.
They have Nano Blade here, and it looks like they're going to use it right now.
Bongo Reaper ult is huge. That stops really any value that the Nano Blade is going to get. He kills 3, and there's a 4th on the D.Va.
Dude,
Team wipe there. The aggressiveness.
My Life is a Meme.
My Life is a Meme. Just, I mean, Syntax has been getting these staggers, but it feels like My Life is a Meme has been coming up with these huge, huge plays mid-fight. As well, Syntax had a 4K2 on Temple of Anubis a bit earlier.
Yeah, both of the DPS are very strong here. The Shatter goes out.
Shatter got blocked by the Sigma.
Again, I don't think I've seen very many Shatters getting hits at all.
The Sigma ult. Immo goes down. This could be really, really big. It's going to take out the Rhine. The Brain is going to have to lose a ton of space. Reaper picks the opposing Reaper. Tiny's Reaper picks the Brain's Reaper, that is. And there goes Brain's team. Tiny did a fantastic job there of taking advantage of what they had.
And even then, Syntax still got a pick. Even though their team was down, he was still able to get value somehow. Even if it meant nothing in the end.
Grey Vibes falls in to the Tiny. He is in the back right now. There's the bomb. Doesn't get anybody. But Grey Vibes is going to go down. My Life is a Meme with 2 huge picks, though, on Sigma and Ana. Lucio is skating around here. They have Lucio, Baby D.Va, and Reaper. Reaper has used Wraith, though. He's going to use Blossom, but he goes down really quickly. There's the window. And it's really just cleanup at this point.
And there goes
Ball coming in. He's going to get overtime, but we can safely say that this is about it.
Yeah, I thought no one was on the cart right there, and I thought he was going to get the C9. That would have been funny as well.
It was
but
extremely
they just can't
close.
Take it back.
But as you said, there is just really no ability for the retake. Brain was really convincing there in their beginning picks, and that's going to be the first round for the Brain.
Yeah. I was going to say something regarding like one of the plays made the last round. I can't remember which one. It was something I saw and it was huge. Just can't put my finger on it.
Oh, what a great note, Rick. There was something cool, but I don't remember though. am I supposed to say to that?
Um,
Oh yeah, dude, I'm sure it was huge, bro. You're right.
yeah.
Most
Seriously,
definitely.
seriously though, I'm reconsidering. My life is a meme. He's been the last 2 games kind of just
Ready
showing
for
off
battle.
on his own.
Yeah, he's been really, when it seems like Tiny has the advantage, he just comes up with huge plays. So comp's coming in now. Brain's gonna be running Monkey Diva
So
on attack. Yeah, they're running a dive comp here. Kind of interesting considering all of the success they've had with Ryan Zari. Maybe just want to switch it up. Maybe even a little BM, I dare
And
say.
the Tiny are running a double shield, and both teams have Widows. I don't think it's going to go very well for Syntax on the Widow,
Yeah,
considering 2 shields and the fact that they also have a sniper for them.
definitely
They're
the way the
probably gonna have
comps
to
are set
switch it
up
up.
right now. Tiny's Widow is gonna be able to get a lot more value. But Syntax has been playing so well, we just don't know right now.
I need healing.
Yeah, the Widow isn't covered right now. Although it looks like she is hiding out so she doesn't get picked.
Tiny's tank's actually doing a pretty good job committing here. Immo goes up a little early though, it's down, so now they don't have that cooldown. Monkey's engaging behind them. Orisa for the Tiny is very low. There she goes down. And he's gonna get a huge 2K. My life is a meme again with these massive kills.
I can't. I don't understand what's going on. Everyone is so split up, but the Tiny are just so uncoordinated. The Pharah was at the cart. No one was on the cart, so it didn't really matter. But they were trying to combat the Widow who was in spawn.
Though
the Brain just
the
took
Pharah
the
Mercy
front
are behind the Brain right now.
Yeah, the Farmers who were in the enemy spawn.
And now
They were
they're not going to be able to get... I mean, they're going to have to take a fight all the way at the objective. I mean, they get nothing there. And down goes the Orisa.
Syntax didn't need to do anything regarding the shields. He didn't need to switch off to a different hero. They just didn't play the comp. And there's no way anyone's gonna come back to touch the Brain win. There's... Oh, okay, the Lucio does touch, but there's no way they can take this back.
Yeah, they're just going to turn around and focus everything. And there it is.
4-0.
The Atlanta Brain are going to complete the 4-0 on the Vancouver Tiny. Fantastic game by the Brain. I mean, won that really convincingly. Great tank play along with DPS play, and really good support as well. Sustain was massive throughout this game.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Omega for the Tiny. This is actually what won them the fight here that we weren't expecting at all. He got a huge play here.
Yeah. But my life is a meme. Overall, his Reaper outperformed Omega.
Yeah, for sure.
Both teams started 4-0 in their even map 4. That was all 4 maps. Both teams started at 4-0. Now it's 8-0 to 4-4 for the Brain and Tiny respectively.
The Brain definitely, I mean, the Tiny, I don't think it was any comp issues. It was more just the lack of coordination. But we do have to get to voting on an MVP here. Of course, going to be from the Atlanta Brain as they won the match.
Before you do that, I want to thank... We got to thank Evan Drakes for Prime sub. Thanks.
Oh,
it's pretty nice.
Yeah, that is huge. Thank you, Evan Drakes. But yeah, I think the most obvious candidates are going to be Syntax and My Life is a Meme. Both of them.
They both performed great. The first half, it was easily going to Syntax, and then the second half, it would have gone to My Life's a Meme if it was only one of the DPS out of those 2 on the team. So this is gonna be a hard choice, actually. Syntax did crazy. My Life is a Meme did crazy.
I think, especially for the first 2 maps, I think I'm gonna have to go with Syntax.
I'm gonna have to go with my life as a meme for now. That's really hard. You know what? I mean, I can't. Syntax also did get a lot of staggers there
Whoa.
onto round 3. So overall, I'm actually gonna have to vote Syntax.
Yeah. All right. So we have Syntax, the MVP here right now. So congrats on the win, Syntax. Really convincing 4-0. What do you think went right for you? What do you think you executed well here?
We've been practicing a lot. Like this team, we only had about 2 weeks before the season started to actually build the. Me, Phil, and Gray came over from Bubble Tea last season, and we've been just playing together. We executed our in-game comms really well. We really coordinated everything. Everything had a plan, and everything went the way we wanted.
Yeah, clearly so. You guys seemed coordinated throughout the entirety of this match.
Yeah. The pushes were really, really well executed by you guys. Took advantage of some opportunities that if you hadn't, some of the fights could have gone a different way. But obviously, a really, really, really good performance by you guys. Is there anybody else you would like to thank for this victory?
Oh, definitely. I'd like to thank Gray Vibes and Phil, actually. Phil's been amazing, like, main tank, just leading the charge, keeping everyone on his back, making sure everyone stays cool. And then Gray's just a huge brain, dude. Like, he's crazy smart at this game, and he's just been leading us through, making pushes for us and stuff like that.
It definitely seemed like that the tank play was really, really strong for you guys.
Yeah, congratulations, Brain. And congratulations on MVP. You did
Thank
great.
you. One of many. More will come.
Like
Of
the
course.
confidence, man. I mean, if
Watch
you
out,
keep
Deviant
playing
in
like
the
that,
show.
I mean,
I have
the
high expectations.
performance was very convincing. So
Yeah.
great job, man, and great job to the Brain.
All right, thank you.
All right. Looks like that's going to wrap it up for now. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'm Rek, and
I am Dealer.
Thanks for watching the 4-0 for Atlanta Brain versus Vancouver Tiny. And that's going to be it for today.